Friends, if you're excited to dive into a suspenseful, stylish, and thrilling cinematic experience, then you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most talked about upcoming movies, Another Simple Favor, 2025 star. If you've watched the first film, you already know how clever, unexpected, and full of twists it was, and this sequel promises even more mystery, charm, and scandal. If you're watching this video and you're curious to know everything about this film, then make sure to hit that like button right now. And hey, if you're visiting our channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe so you stay updated with the latest movie reviews, news, and all the juicy behind-the-scenes details. In this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know about Another Simple Favor, 2025, what the movie is about, where and how you can watch it, and which OTT platforms or satellite TV channels it's going to release on. Whether you're planning a movie night or just curious to see if this sequel lives up to the first film, I've got you covered. We'll also explore the creative engine behind the film. From the technical team to the music department, from the early pre-production planning to filming, editing, and final touches in post-production, this movie has had quite a journey, and I'll walk you through it all. I'll even share information about the film's budget, and of course, once the movie hits the screens, we'll take a look at its box office performance too. But wait, there's more. I'll be giving you a brief overview of the film's storyline. Don't worry, no big spoilers. Just a little taste to get you intrigued. I'll also give you a mini review based on what we know so far and what early impressions and expectations are floating around. And of course, no movie is complete without its cast. We'll talk about the actors, the characters they're playing, and how their performances are shaping the movie's tone and vibe. Is Blake Lively back? What kind of trouble is Anna Kendrick's character walking into this time? We'll cover it all, including some fun facts about the actors and maybe even a few surprises about who's new in this sequel. So friends, buckle up and stay with me till the very end of the video because you won't want to miss a single detail about Another Simple Favor, 2025. This is going to be fun, informative, and packed with everything you need to get hyped for the movie. Let's not waste any more time. Let's start the video. Alright friends, let's get into the juicy heart of Another Simple Favor, 2025. The plot. Now, if you thought the first film kept you on your toes, this sequel turns the mystery dial all the way up and then spins it around just for fun. We're back in the stylish, deceitful, and delightfully twisted world of secrets, lies, and high-stakes mind games, and trust me, it's a wild ride from the very first scene. The movie kicks off with Stephanie, our lovable yet slightly chaotic vlogger mom, once again thrown into the unexpected. After the chaos she barely survived in the first movie, you'd think she'd be sipping tea quietly in the suburbs. Nope. This time, she receives a suspicious invitation that pulls her back into Emily's orbit, and just like that, we're sucked into a new game of glamour and deceit. Emily, the effortlessly chic and dangerously mysterious fashion PR queen, isn't done playing. Not even close. The film immediately sets a tone that's both familiar and fresh. It knows we expect twists, and it uses that to its advantage. Just when you think you see the pattern, bam. It changes. It toys with perspective in clever ways. Sometimes you feel like you're in Stephanie's shoes, trying to put the puzzle together piece by piece, full of doubt and second guesses. Other times, the camera winks at you, hinting that Emily might know exactly what she's doing, and maybe even more than she's letting on. The structure is anything but straightforward. It jumps between present-day tension and cleverly placed flashbacks that reframe what you thought you knew. These aren't just thrown in randomly, they're little bombs that go off right when you start getting comfortable. They shift your understanding of the characters and, more importantly, they make you question who the real puppet master is. Is it Emily again? Or is Stephanie finally learning to outmaneuver her? Key turning points come fast and furious. One moment Stephanie is planning a harmless meetup, and the next she's knee-deep in a criminal conspiracy that involves international secrets, fake identities, and a suspiciously well-dressed cast of characters who all seem to have something to hide. There's a jaw-dropping moment involving a yacht, a fashion gala gone wrong, and a hidden message inside a lipstick case. Yes, it's that kind of movie. Every scene builds on the last, and just when you think you've got it figured out, a new player enters, or a piece of the puzzle flips upside down. The emotional stakes are surprisingly intense too. Stephanie isn't just the goofy mom this time, she's grown. She's sharper, more skeptical, but still deeply human. Her relationship with her son plays a surprisingly touching role in the story, grounding all the madness in something real. Meanwhile, Emily remains an enigma. Is she actually protecting Stephanie this time? Or setting her up for the ultimate betrayal? That tension simmers constantly, making even quiet conversations feel like a chess match with a knife hidden under the board. There's also this delicious sense of play throughout the film. It's self-aware, witty, and never afraid to make fun of itself. But under that glossy surface is a story about control. Who has it, who loses it, and how far people will go to reclaim it. Themes of identity, power, friendship, and manipulation run through every scene. It's like Hitchcock met a fashion magazine editor, and they decided to write a thriller together after one too many martinis. By the end, you're not just watching a story unfold, you're trying to survive it alongside the characters. It's unpredictable, thrilling, and stylish in a way that makes you want to rewind scenes just to admire how cleverly it all fits together. One minute you're laughing at a sarcastic quip, the next your jaw is on the floor. It's drama, it's comedy, it's mystery, it's chaos, and it's all wrapped up in a killer wardrobe and a razor-sharp script. So buckle up, because the story of Another Simple Favor isn't just a sequel, it's a stylish, sinister roller coaster that knows exactly how to keep you hanging on every word. Let's talk about the real spice of Another Simple Favor, 2025, the characters. Because what's a twisty, glamorous mystery without some unforgettable personalities tangled in their own secrets? This movie isn't just about plot. It's driven by characters who feel like they could either hug you or stab you, and you'd probably thank them either way. First up, Stephanie. Oh, sweet, awkward, overly enthusiastic Stephanie. But wait, she's not quite the same woman you remember. Gone is the naive, bubbly single mom who stumbled into danger and somehow made it out alive with a YouTube channel and a new backbone. This time, Stephanie is sharper. She's grown. You can feel it in the way she walks into a room. Still slightly nervous, sure, but there's a glint of confidence now. She knows how to read the room, even if she's still fumbling with how to lie properly. Her transformation is subtle but powerful. She's learning how to balance her moral compass with the reality of a world that doesn't play fair. And guess what? She's not afraid to play a little dirty this time. Then there's Emily, the hurricane in heels. The woman who walks into chaos and somehow makes it look like performance art. Emily hasn't lost a drop of her icy charm or her dangerously smooth manipulation skills. But here's the twist. This time, we start to see some cracks. Not weakness exactly, but layers. We get glimpses into her past, little flashes of vulnerability that make you question everything. Is she using Stephanie again? Or is she trying to protect her from something bigger? Emily's motivations are like a maze with no exit signs. She's not just a femme fatale anymore. She's a complicated, multidimensional force of nature with a past that refuses to stay buried. And the relationship between Stephanie and Emily? Still the main course. Their dynamic is as deliciously tense as ever, shifting constantly between friendship, rivalry, sisterhood, and psychological warfare. One moment they're sipping cocktails and sharing secrets. The next they're accusing each other of betrayal with a smile that says, "I still might need you." It's this push and pull, love-hate bond that gives the film its emotional heat. You don't know whether they'll end the movie holding hands or holding weapons, and maybe neither do they. Supporting characters also get a lot more room to breathe in this sequel. There's a mysterious newcomer who seems charming but clearly knows too much, and you're constantly guessing, friend or foe. Stephanie's son even has a small but surprisingly touching arc that grounds her emotionally. He's growing up, asking harder questions, and pushing Stephanie to decide what kind of example she wants to be. That parental thread adds a whole new layer to Stephanie's journey. It's not just about survival this time, it's about legacy. What's really fun is how everyone in this movie has something to hide. Every side character feels like they could spin off into their own more thriller. A seemingly helpful assistant might be a double agent. A charming ex-lover, probably hiding something explosive. These people aren't just background noise, they're gears in a much bigger machine, and they all affect how our main duo operates. Everyone's motivations are tangled in ambition, secrets, guilt, or revenge. That's what makes the character work so entertaining. Nobody is who they seem, and even when they reveal something true, you're left wondering how much of it was calculated. These aren't just characters. They're players in a game that constantly changes the rules, and watching them adapt, collapse, or evolve is half the fun. Character arcs here aren't about black and white morality or clean-cut resolutions. They're about survival, identity, and figuring out how far you'll go for the people you care about, or the ones you want to destroy. And somehow, even amid all the drama and deception, the characters feel real, grounded, and just a little bit relatable. Because who hasn't had a friend they didn't totally trust, but couldn't quite walk away from? So buckle up, because the characters in Another Simple Favor, 2025, don't just carry the story, they twist it, tease it, and set it on fire. Now let's get into the performances, because wow, Another Simple Favor, 2025, doesn't just deliver a stylish story, it serves a full-on acting masterclass wrapped in couture and attitude. These aren't just actors reading lines, they are living, breathing enigmas who make every scene crackle with tension, wit, and just the right amount of menace. It's like watching a glamorous fencing match where every smirk is a potential weapon. Blake Lively is back as Emily, and let's be real, nobody plays cool, calculated chaos quite like her. She doesn't walk into scenes, she owns them. Her delivery is razor-sharp, her expressions are subtle but lethal, and she balances elegance with danger like she was born to play this role. She's not just acting, she's performing psychological magic tricks. One moment she's charming you with a monologue so smooth you forget to breathe, and the next, she's giving you a look that makes you question your whole life. And the best part? She never overdoes it. Blake knows exactly when to hold back, when to drop the charm, and when to turn the volume up just enough to make you nervous. Then there's Kendrick as Stephanie. If you thought she was good in the first movie, prepare to be impressed. She takes all that awkward charm and turns it into something a little darker, a little sharper. Stephanie is still quirky, yes, but there's a new strength underneath the surface. Anna brings this layered vulnerability that feels completely genuine. You laugh with her, worry for her, and sometimes even root for her when she's bluffing her way through danger. The best part? She never loses the comedic timing that makes Stephanie so lovable. The balance between tension and humor is masterful, and Anna nails every beat with precision. You believe every nervous giggle, every moment of doubt, and every surprising burst of courage. The chemistry between Blake and Anna? Electric. They don't just share scenes, they spark off each other. It's that rare kind of screen partnership where you can't tell who's manipulating who, and every glance feels loaded. Whether they're teaming up, tearing each other down, or sharing a weirdly intimate moment over martinis, you're hooked. They play off each other with such confidence and timing that even a simple conversation feels like a showdown in slow motion. Now, let's talk supporting cast, because this film doesn't skimp on talent. There's a new character introduced, mysterious, smooth-talking, and totally unpredictable, and the actor behind him brings that perfect mix of charm and suspicion. You want to trust him, but something always feels a little off, and that's exactly the vibe he's meant to deliver. He adds a new layer of tension to the already complex dynamic between Emily and Stephanie. Then there's the return of some familiar faces from the first film, and they bring just the right amount of continuity and chaos. Even characters who only pop in for a scene or two are memorable. That nosy PDA mom? Hilarious. That too perfect assistant? Suspiciously perfect. Every actor seems to understand the tone of the film. Stylized, yes, but grounded just enough to keep you emotionally invested. No one is phoning it in. Every performance feels precise, like each person knows exactly what role they play in this twisted little puzzle. What really stands out is how much emotional weight the performances carry beneath all the mystery and glamour. This movie could have just been a fun game of cat and mouse, but the actors give it heart. There are moments where vulnerability sneaks through, where a crack in someone's mask reveals something raw. And those moments hit hard, not because they're loud or dramatic, but because the actors know how to make you feel something real in the middle of all the madness. So, if you're coming to another simple favor for the plot twists, you'll stay for the performances. These actors don't just bring their characters to life. They breathe danger, wit, heartbreak, and hilarity into every frame. It's smart, it's stylish, and it's an acting showcase disguised as a glamorous thriller. Let's shine the spotlight on the mastermind behind all the madness. Yes, the director of Another Simple Favor, 2025. Because let's be honest, a film this slick, strange, and stylish doesn't just happen. It takes a sharp, confident, and slightly wicked vision to pull off a story that dances between satire and suspense while looking like a luxury fashion ad with a dark secret. From the very first frame, you know you're in the hands of someone who gets it. The tone? Impeccably balanced. This isn't just a thriller, and it's not just a comedy. It's a delicious hybrid that slips effortlessly between danger and sass. The director walks that tightrope without ever losing footing. 1 second, you're holding your breath during a tense confrontation. The next, you're laughing out loud at a deadpan one-liner. And somehow, it all feels like it belongs in the same twisted universe. That tone doesn't just happen by accident. It's carefully sculpted in every scene. The mood of the film is glossy on the outside, sinister underneath. That's the director's signature touch. Think high-end visuals with a Hitchcockian heartbeat. The lighting choices, the color palette, the angles, it's all working overtime to keep you slightly off balance. Shadows fall just a little too long. The rooms are a little too perfect. Everything looks beautiful, but you can feel something lurking just beneath the surface. That's not just good design, it's vision. And the director leans into it fully. Let's talk style, because Another Simple Favor doesn't just tell a story, it struts. The director uses camera work the way a fashion designer uses fabric, elegantly, but with a touch of mischief. Long, smooth tracking shots add this dreamy elegance, but then out of nowhere, you'll get a sharp cut that snaps you out of it. It's like the film itself is teasing you, letting you get comfortable before flipping the table. There's real rhythm to the way scenes unfold. The pacing is tight and deliberate, slow when it needs to drip tension, fast when it wants to throw you into chaos. Not a second feels wasted. One standout trick the director plays with is perspective. There are scenes that start off feeling totally straightforward, then halfway through, you realize you're seeing it through someone else's carefully curated lens, often metaphorically, sometimes literally. The use of reflections, mirrors, even phone screens becomes part of the storytelling. It's all about control, who's seeing what, and what's being hidden. These aren't just cool visuals, they're part of the narrative architecture, helping the story unfold like a mystery box within a mystery box. Another genius move is how the director frames character interactions. Dialogue-heavy scenes aren't just shot like filler, they're choreographed. You'll see two characters talking, but the real story is told in the positioning, in the background elements, in the little visual cues. A wine glass placed a little too neatly. A character half in shadow. There's always something happening in the margins, and if you blink, you might miss it. It's that kind of attention to detail that makes rewatching almost a requirement. Even the comedic timing feels meticulously directed. The humor is dry, sharp, and often lands during moments that are just tense enough to make you question whether it's okay to laugh. That's a very specific kind of storytelling. It requires not just faith in the script and actors, but a director who knows exactly when to let the scene breathe and when to yank the rug out. The overall narrative flow feels like it's being steered by someone who's not just trying to entertain, but trying to mess with your expectations in the best way. Every act feels intentional. Every reveal feels earned. And even when the story swerves into completely unexpected territory, the director keeps the wheel steady. It's that sense of control, paired with a love for stylish chaos, that gives this film its personality. In the end, the director isn't just guiding the story, they're shaping your entire experience. The suspense, the laughs, the glamorous weirdness, the emotional gut punches, it all flows from that central creative force pulling the strings behind the scenes. You don't see the direction, you feel it. And in a movie like this, that's exactly how it should be. Let's talk cinematography, because in another simple favor, 2025, the camera isn't just watching the story unfold. It's seducing you, misleading you, and pulling you deeper into its glossy web of secrets. This movie looks good. Like, distractingly good. But don't let the beauty fool you. Every frame is working hard to create mood, build tension, and sprinkle in visual clues that make the whole experience feel like a twisted fashion show meets a psychological chess match. The lighting is pure magic. It's elegant and deliberate, casting everything in a soft glow that gives the film a high-end, almost dreamlike quality. But that dreamy sheen hides danger in the corners. The cinematographer plays with shadows like a magician. One moment a room is brightly lit and welcoming, and the next it's a study in noir-level darkness. A single beam of light slicing across Emily's face? That's not just aesthetic, it's storytelling. It suggests she's hiding something, keeping part of herself in shadow, literally and figuratively. Camera angles? Oh, they're spicy. There's nothing boring about the way this movie is shot. Low angles are used to make characters feel powerful or ominous, especially Emily, who always seems to be shot just slightly off-center, just enough to remind you she's unpredictable. Stephanie, on the other hand, often gets those tighter, slightly higher angles that highlight her vulnerability, at least at first. As her confidence grows, the angles change subtly, and suddenly, she's taking up more space in the frame. That's character development through cinematography. Yes, please. Framing is used like a secret code. Mirrors, windows, doorways, they're everywhere, constantly splitting characters in two or framing them in ways that suggest confinement or duality. There's one unforgettable shot where two characters are having a conversation, but they're reflected in opposite sides of a mirror, never truly looking at each other. It's a quiet moment, but visually, it screams deception and distance. You can feel the tension without anyone saying a word. Now, let's talk movement. The camera glides through scenes like a dancer. Long takes give moments room to breathe, letting the suspense build naturally. Then, when things get intense, the camera moves in closer, tighter, more erratically. It's all about rhythm. 1 minute you're floating through a mansion like you're at a Vogue shoot, and the next you're spinning in Stephanie's panic as secrets begin to unravel. The contrast makes every twist hit harder, every reveal more dramatic. There are standout moments where the visuals steal the show. A rooftop party scene with golden hour lighting that makes everyone look too perfect to trust. A nighttime chase lit only by flickering neon that turns the city into a surreal playground of paranoia. And don't even get me started on the final confrontation. It's shot like a fashion editorial crossed with a fever dream, where every frame could be printed, framed, and hung in a gallery called Dangerous Elegance. The cinematography doesn't just set the mood, it is the mood. It tells you when to be suspicious, when to relax, briefly, and when to clutch your armrest. It whispers secrets before the characters speak them. It's playful, polished, and deeply aware that this story is as much about appearances as it is about truths, and it uses every light, shadow, and lens flare to blur the line between the two. So no, this isn't just pretty camera work. It's clever, calculated visual storytelling dressed up in high fashion and wrapped in noir. The cinematography is another character in this movie, mysterious, stylish, and always one step ahead of you. Editing and pacing in another simple favor, 2025. Oh, buckle up, because this film is a masterclass in how to keep your audience hooked, leaning forward, and occasionally yelling, "Wait, what just happened?" at the screen. The editing doesn't just connect scenes, it slices, slips, and seduces its way through the story, like it's got a secret it's dying to tell but won't spill until the last possible second. Let's start with the rhythm of the film, because it plays like a pop song that knows exactly when to drop the beat. The pacing isn't flat or predictable, it's a calculated roller coaster. It opens with a stylish, slow burn that gives you just enough information to feel intrigued, but leaves enough mystery to keep you guessing. You're lulled in by charming dialogue, gorgeous visuals, and what seems like a straightforward reunion between frenemies. Then, boom, the tempo picks up, secrets start tumbling out of closets, some literal, and the film starts playing with tempo, like a DJ teasing the next big drop. The transitions are slick, like really slick. You barely notice the cuts because they're so smartly woven into the visual language. One moment you're sipping cocktails in a pristine penthouse, and the next, you're knee-deep in a flashback or a twist without even realizing the shift. That seamless quality? That's the editor showing off in the best way. The film knows when to let a scene linger, when to cut mid-sentence for dramatic effect, and when to stack moments back-to-back for maximum tension. There's a rhythm here that feels purposeful, even when things get chaotic. But don't think this film is all about fast-forwarding to the next twist. Oh no! It's confident enough to slow down when it matters. Some of the best scenes take their time, not because the film is dragging, but because it knows when to make you sit in a moment. A loaded glance, a long pause, a pregnant silence after someone drops a half-truth that you just know will come back later like a boomerang with a razor blade. Those moments work because the editing gives them space to breathe. It trusts the audience to sit still and soak in the tension. When things ramp up, and oh, do they ramp up, the editing gets tighter, more rapid, and just a little off-kilter in the best way. Flash cuts, overlapping dialogue, visual cues slipping into scenes like whispers. It's not chaotic for the sake of chaos. It's a controlled unraveling. The story begins to spiral, and the edits mirror that descent. You feel the pressure, the ticking clock, the tightening web. And just when you think the pacing is going to sprint to the finish, it slows down again, twisting the knife with one final reveal or emotional beat that hits even harder because of the contrast. There are also some clever stylistic choices. Jump cuts that feel almost like a wink, split screens that give you more than one layer of truth, and a few montages that don't just recap events but reframe them. You'll catch yourself saying, "Wait, was that what really happened?" Because the editing loves to tease and mislead. It's playing the long game, setting up payoffs hours ahead of time, then cutting back to earlier moments with just enough flair to make you rethink everything. And let's not forget the humor. The comedic timing in this film owes just as much to the editing as it does to the script and performances. Those perfectly placed reaction shots, the awkward silences that stretch just a bit too long, the split-second cuts right after a character says something suspicious, that's all in the edit, and it's glorious. It's what keeps the movie feeling fresh, playful, and just a little wicked even in its darkest moments. In a movie full of secrets, the editing is the invisible hand behind the curtain, deciding what you get to see, and when you get to see it. It's sneaky, stylish, and just as smart as the characters it's shaping. This isn't just about cutting scenes together. It's about creating a rhythm that seduces, surprises, and occasionally slaps you in the face, with love, of course. The pacing isn't just good, it's weaponized. The soundtrack and score of Another Simple Favor, 2025, are not just background noise. They're full-blown characters with attitude, secrets, and impeccable taste. From the very first note, the music tells you exactly what kind of world you've stepped into. Sharp, stylish, a little dangerous, and never quite what it seems. It's the kind of soundtrack that makes you want to walk slower, sip your drink a little more dramatically, and look over your shoulder just in case someone's following you in heels. The score slips between genres like a spy changing disguises. One moment you've got a sultry jazz riff that makes everything feel smoky and mysterious, and the next, a pulsing synth beat creeps in, raising the tension without shouting for attention. It's a score that knows when to be invisible and when to strut. During dialogue-heavy scenes, it simmers quietly beneath the surface, letting the actors shine while still whispering, "Don't trust what you're hearing." But when the stakes rise or a twist slaps you across the face, the music swells, curls, or even cuts out completely, because silence here is a weapon too. Let's talk motifs, because this movie loves a good recurring theme. There's a little musical phrase that plays whenever Emily's name is mentioned or her presence is felt, even if she's not on screen. It's subtle, just a few mysterious, slightly off-kilter notes, but once you catch it, you realize it's a breadcrumb trail leading you deeper into her mystery. Then there's Stephanie's theme, lighter and more tentative at first, but growing bolder, richer, and more confident as the story unfolds. The music mirrors her arc, transforming from background flutter to full-on statement as she evolves from suburban blogger to sleuth with an edge. There's also a clever use of needle drops, Those carefully chosen pop songs that pop up at just the right moment to add a little bite to a scene. And oh, does this film know how to pick a track? There's a dinner scene that turns from charming to chilling in seconds, and the upbeat, overly sweet song playing in the background makes it feel even more unsettling. It's the kind of musical choice that makes you squirm in the best way because the contrast is so intentional. The song says everything's fine, but your gut knows better. And then we have those moments of pure silence. Beautiful, unnerving silence. The score doesn't overdo it. It doesn't try to fill every second. Sometimes the music just steps back and lets the tension speak. One of the most powerful scenes in the movie, no spoilers, but let's just say it involves a confrontation and a loaded glance, is completely unscored. No strings, no synth, just the sound of breath, footsteps, and a heartbeat you can practically hear. That silence hits harder than any orchestral swell ever could, because it leaves you exposed, vulnerable, and waiting for something to snap. The sound design blends seamlessly with the score, too. Ambient sounds bleed into the music, blurring the line between the real world and the emotional undercurrent. You might not even notice at first that the hum of a refrigerator has morphed into a low, sinister drone, or that the rain tapping on the windows is keeping perfect time with the bass line. It's layered, immersive, and wildly effective at pulling you into the scene before you even know what's happening. Every note in this movie is intentional. Every song choice, every beat of silence, every sudden crescendo is part of the emotional fabric. The score doesn't just accompany the story. It plays with it, manipulates it, and sometimes outright lies to you, just like the characters. It knows how to be seductive, sarcastic, or terrifying, depending on what the moment needs. And it always sounds amazing doing it. Let's dig into the juicy core of another simple favor, 2025, the themes. Because make no mistake, beneath the glitz, glamour, and perfectly timed shade, this film is stirring the pot with some pretty bold, fascinating questions about identity, power, morality, and the masks we wear. It's not just playing dress-up with mystery tropes, it's undressing them, twisting them, and restitching them into something far more layered than it first appears. At the center of it all is identity. Who are we really? The characters in this film are masters of reinvention. Stephanie, who once seemed like the queen of PDA meetings and Pinterest, starts peeling back layers until she's almost unrecognizable, and not just to others, but to herself. Emily, on the other hand, is a walking enigma, someone who changes like the weather but somehow always knows who's holding the umbrella. The film plays with this constantly. Can you really know someone? Can you even know yourself? And more importantly, what happens when the truth is too ugly to wear in public? Then there's the delicious exploration of power dynamics. The way people shift roles in relationships, friend, rival, puppet master, is almost like a dance, and this movie doesn't shy away from showing how manipulation can look a lot like friendship if you squint. Who's in control changes from scene to scene, sometimes even mid-sentence. Power here isn't about brute force. It's about charm, secrets, and leverage. The film seems to be saying, in a world of polished surfaces, real power lies with the person who knows the most and cares the least about playing fair. And let's talk about morality, or the delightful absence of it. This movie lives in the gray zone. There are no pure heroes here, no straightforward villains. Everyone's a little bit guilty, a little bit selfish, a little bit brilliant. The story doesn't offer judgment. It invites curiosity. It asks, what if doing the right thing means becoming someone you never thought you'd be? What if survival means embracing the very darkness you were once afraid of? There's something oddly liberating about how the film leans into moral ambiguity. It gives the audience room to wrestle with the choices, rather than handing down easy answers. Deception, of course, is everywhere. But it's not just about lying to others. It's about the lies we tell ourselves. The film pokes at this constantly. Stephanie wants to believe she's a good person, a capable mother, a loyal friend. But at what cost? Emily builds her identity on mystery and strength, but there are cracks in that armor. The fun part is watching these illusions get chipped away, not through melodrama, but through clever dialogue, little choices, and one shocking revelation after another. There's even a cheeky commentary on society's obsession with image. The world these characters move through is one of curated perfection. Instagram lives, tailored suits, flawless smiles. But underneath, it's all chaos. The film seems to smirk and ask, what's the difference between a personal brand and a carefully crafted lie? The message lands without preaching. It's satirical, sly, and served up with a cocktail in hand. There's also a subtle but sharp look at gender roles. The way women in this story are underestimated, judged, or pigeonholed, and then completely subvert those expectations, is endlessly satisfying. It's not a message you get hit over the head with, but it's woven into every scene. These women are smart, strategic, and unapologetic in a world that constantly tells them to be less. The movie revels in showing how that expectation becomes a weapon they learn to turn on others. So yes, beneath the thrills and twists and glamorous mayhem, Another Simple Favor, 2025, is quietly asking a lot of smart, provocative questions about who we are, about how far we're willing to go for truth, or control, or freedom. It's a film that entertains with style while planting just enough psychological seeds to keep your mind spinning long after the credits roll. The messages aren't loud, but they're sharp, knowing, and just a little dangerous. Kind of like the movie itself. When it comes to Another Simple Favor, 2025, you might not expect a film built on mystery, betrayal, and fabulous wardrobes to have much going on in the way of visual effects, but oh, how it surprises you. This movie doesn't go overboard with big, flashy CGI spectacles. Instead, it uses visual effects like a magician uses sleight of hand, subtle, elegant, and timed to perfection. The VFX isn't here to scream, "Look at me." It's here to whisper, "Are you sure you saw what you think you saw?" Let's start with the way digital enhancements are used to build mood and atmosphere. There are scenes where the world just feels a little too perfect, like a step-forward version of reality. That's no accident. The lighting, the reflections, the slight gleam in the background, they've all been digitally polished just enough to make everything feel just a touch surreal. That dreamlike perfection adds to the sense that something's off, that beneath this flawless surface lies a web of lies, secrets, and possibly bodies. It's not in-your-face CGI, but it's smart digital artistry that enhances tone without pulling you out of the moment. And then there are the moments where the visual effects turn up the volume just a little. Flashbacks that blur around the edges, creating a hazy, unreliable feel. Mirrors that seem to hold more than just a reflection. Shadows that linger a beat too long. You're never quite sure what's real and what's been manipulated, which fits perfectly with a story built on shifting truths and hidden motives. These digital touches aren't about spectacle, they're about subtle psychological tension. You feel unsettled, even if you can't quite put your finger on why. One of the most fun uses of VFX in the film comes when the story leans into its more stylized moments. There's a sequence involving surveillance footage, split screens, and a few creative data visualizations that give you clues without spelling everything out. It's the kind of scene that uses visual flair to push the narrative forward. You're not just watching characters snoop. You're inside their minds, following the threads, seeing connections light up like clues on a detective's corkboard. These visual choices are slick, stylish, and way more fun than someone just explaining things with dialogue. Now, let's talk practical versus digital. The film does a clever job of blending the two. Most of the visual world, homes, streets, fashion, is grounded in reality. The glamorous environments are shot practically, which gives the film texture and authenticity. But then the digital enhancements come in to add a little sparkle or danger, depending on the scene. A storm rolling in too perfectly? A fire that flares just a little too dramatically? That's digital helping practical, not replacing it. The effects serve the story rather than stealing it. And don't overlook the way the film uses effects to manipulate time and perception. There's a scene that repeats with slight variations, and the differences are all in the visuals. Lighting shifts, background elements change, even facial expressions are tweaked. It's the film playing with memory, showing how truth bends depending on who's remembering. You don't realize it at first, but the effects are slowly making you doubt your own eyes. Most importantly, none of it feels forced. The VFX is used with purpose and restraint. There's no random explosion, No unnecessary slow-motion dive through fire. Instead, the effects enhance the film's tone, elegant, mysterious, and just a little dangerous. It's the kind of craftsmanship that doesn't demand attention but rewards it. You might not notice every digital brushstroke on your first watch, but by the second or third time through, and yes, this film practically dares you to rewatch it, you'll start spotting the visual clues hidden in plain sight. So while another simple favor, 2025, isn't a CGI blockbuster, it's a brilliant example of how to use visual effects not to dominate the story, but to deepen it. It's not about bending reality with flashy tech. It's about warping perception just enough to keep you guessing. Every shimmer, every glitch, every too-perfect frame is part of the game. And you, dear viewer, are the one being played. The set design and locations in another simple favor, 2025, are not just backgrounds, they are full-on characters with secrets, style, and attitude. Every room, every street corner, every carefully curated coffee table is dripping with intention. From the first frame, the production design starts whispering hints, setting traps, and winking at you while you try to piece together who's lying and who's just really good at home decor. Let's start with the homes, because in this movie, a character's house is like their psychological fingerprint. Stephanie's space is bright, orderly, practically begging you to believe everything is safe and under control. Open concept kitchen?
Check.
Perfectly fluffed throw pillows?
Check.
A fridge that's probably more organized than your entire life?
Check.
But look closer. There's something almost too perfect, like the kind of life someone builds when they're trying a little too hard to be likable. Her house isn't just a setting, it's a performance. And the production design leans into that with a gentle, almost passive-aggressive precision. Now swing over to Emily's world. Oh, Emily. Her home is the definition of do not touch anything unless you can afford to replace it. Dark wood, modern art, sharp lines, and a wine collection that silently judges you from across the room. It's seductive, mysterious, and just a little dangerous, basically a mirror of her entire persona. The space oozes confidence and control, but it's also a fortress, carefully designed to keep people out emotionally while inviting them in visually. You walk into her house and feel like something important has happened, or is about to. That tension? All in the set design. The locations outside the home are just as telling. A quiet suburban neighborhood that seems peaceful on the surface, but hides so much drama, it could give any big city a run for its money. The streets feel familiar and safe, but the cinematography and design work together to slowly strip away that comfort. A park bench suddenly feels like a place of confrontation. A school hallway turns into a scene of betrayal. The design doesn't have to scream, it just shifts the lighting, the framing, maybe adds one suspiciously placed object, and boom, the whole tone changes. The props are used like visual breadcrumbs. A piece of jewelry, left just a little too visibly. A seemingly innocuous photo on a shelf that becomes a smoking gun 2 scenes later. Even a cocktail shaker gets its moment of spotlight, hinting at luxury, while setting up a potential weapon. It's all intentional. Nothing is random. The production team knows exactly what they're doing, and they're playing the long game. You might not catch the significance the first time, but you'll definitely raise an eyebrow the second time around. And let's talk about the fashion meets environment game this movie plays. When Emily walks into a location, the space reacts to her. Her outfits match or clash with the decor in ways that are either subtle power plays or visual clues. When Stephanie starts adopting Emily's style, the same locations begin to feel different, like they're unsure who really owns them now. The set design reflects this character power shift without ever needing to say it out loud. Even the transitional spots, the cafes, the art galleries, the oddly specific boutique, have personality. They aren't just backdrops, they're mood setters. You walk into a coffee shop and instantly sense if this is a place for bonding, betrayal, or both. The lighting, the furniture choices, even the background extras are curated to keep the emotional energy taut and untrustworthy. This isn't just world building. It's psychological warfare, dressed in marble countertops and mood lighting. There's a specific scene, a lakeside retreat, rustic and romantic on the surface, that pulls off an incredible bait and switch. The environment tells you it should be serene, peaceful, healing. But the way the props are placed, the angle of the dock, the odd emptiness of the surrounding woods, all of it suggests something darker is lurking. The set is performing, just like the characters, and it's lying to your face with a charming smile. In another simple favor, 2025, the production design doesn't just build a believable world, it builds a layered one. A world full of masks and mirrors, where even the furniture might be hiding a secret. The locations are never just locations. They are statements. They are weapons. They are part of the mystery. And if you're paying attention, they'll tell you more than any confession ever could. The dialogue in another simple favor, 2025? Oh, it's absolutely dripping with sass, secrets, and surgical precision. This script doesn't just talk. It slices, stabs, seduces, and sometimes snorts with laughter. Every line feels like it's been carefully tailored, not just to fit the character speaking it, but to weaponize the scene it lives in. The words in this movie are as much a power play as the fashion choices, and the best part? It's all delivered with a kind of casual flair that makes you want to rewind just to hear how effortlessly the characters drop verbal bombs. Let's start with the tone. The script walks a tightrope between biting comedy and taut psychological thriller, and it does so with the grace of someone balancing a martini in one hand and a murder confession in the other. There's a playful darkness to the conversations, like everyone is speaking in code or performing in a drama only they know the ending to. Stephanie's lines have this delicious nervous energy, like she's trying to sound calm, but might implode at any second. Emily talks like someone who's always holding 5 secrets and one sharp blade behind her back. The contrast is not just funny, it's electric. Wit, sarcasm, and shade are the currency here. You don't just listen to this dialogue, you sit up and listen. It's not afraid to be sharp, snappy, or mean in the most elegant way. There's a scene early on where Stephanie tries to compliment Emily and ends up fumbling the moment entirely. Emily's response is so dry, so casually devastating, you almost miss the insult. That's the magic of the script. It gives you the thrill of watching a verbal duel where nobody raises their voice, but everyone walks away slightly wounded. But don't be fooled into thinking it's all glib remarks and stylish venom. The emotional punches hit just as hard, and they come out of nowhere. You'll be watching a lighthearted scene, giggling at the ridiculousness of it all, and suddenly, boom, a line lands that's so raw or revealing it actually stings. The writers know exactly when to shift gears and drop the mask. There's one scene in particular where a character, usually the picture of composure, confesses something deeply personal in the quietest tone imaginable, and it hits like a scream. That's good writing. Not because it shouts its feelings, but because it trusts the silence to carry them. And the way the script handles exposition? Genius. You're never dragged through dry explanations or dull info dumps. Instead, the backstory is woven into snarky conversations, side comments, little verbal slips that seem like throwaways until you realize they were clues all along. It rewards attention. It dares you to miss things. And when you don't, you feel like you're in on the game. There are definitely standout lines, the kind that beg to be quoted. Lines that slice through the glamour and get right to the twisted heart of the story. Things like, "You don't bury secrets, darling. You plant them," or "The truth isn't ugly. It's just inconvenient." These aren't just cool one-liners. They carry thematic weight. They define the film's philosophy. They tell you exactly what kind of ride you're on, without ever breaking the fourth wall. Even the awkward moments are gold. The stumbles in speech, the accidental reveals, the way someone says one thing but their face screams something else, it's all built into the script. The dialogue is never just about what's being said. It's about what's not being said, what's being hinted at, and what's being purposely twisted. It's a maze, and every word is a turn. And then there's the rhythm. Some scenes play like a tennis match, quick volleys, sharp comebacks, nobody backing down. Others slow to a crawl, with long pauses, loaded silences, and single words that feel like grenades. The pacing of the dialogue mirrors the psychological tug-of-war happening between the characters. Sometimes it's charming. Sometimes it's terrifying. Often it's both. So yes, the script of Another Simple Favor, 2025, doesn't just carry the film, it dresses it, drives it, and dares you to keep up. It's stylish, sharp, and slippery, and every word counts. Whether it's whispering a threat, sharing a secret, or cracking a joke with teeth, the dialogue is never just talking, it's telling you everything you need to know about these characters, even when they're lying straight to your face. The genre execution in Another Simple Favor, 2025, is like watching someone bake a cake with a recipe you think you know, until they throw in cayenne pepper, 3 shots of espresso, and then light the whole thing on fire just to see what happens. It's a thriller, yes. A mystery? Definitely. A dark comedy? Absolutely. But what makes this film stand out is how it grabs the usual tropes of its genre, dresses them in designer heels, and sends them strutting down a catwalk with a martini in one hand and a lie in the other. At first glance, it seems like a sleek domestic thriller. You've got the suburban mom with a podcast, the mysterious femme fatale best friend, a sudden disappearance, and a string of secrets waiting to unravel. Sounds familiar, right? But wait. This movie doesn't just check the genre boxes. It uses them like poker cards in a high-stakes bluff. It knows you've seen these setups before. It's counting on it. Then, just when you're starting to get cozy in your assumptions, it yanks the rug and replaces it with a flaming red carpet of chaos. Suspense is layered in the most devilish way. It's not about jump scares or dramatic music cues. It's psychological tension. The kind that brews over wine glasses and PDA meetings, where one seemingly innocent line can feel like a threat if you're paying attention. It toys with your expectations by making the ordinary feel sinister and the glamorous feel deadly. The pacing of the suspense isn't about big reveals. It's about small slips. It's the pause before an answer, the look that lingers too long, the smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. Humor? Oh yes, humor is woven into the very DNA of this film. But don't expect slapstick or over-the-top antics. It's dry, it's dark, and it's viciously smart. The laughs come from awkward tension, from characters being far too honest in inappropriate situations, and from the kind of social satire that pokes fun at influencer culture, suburbia, and the performative nature of perfect lives. The comedy never deflates the suspense, it enhances it. Because what's more unnerving than a character casually sipping wine and cracking a joke while their entire life is falling apart behind their eyes? And then there's the drama. The stakes feel personal rather than global, but that's exactly what makes them hit harder. This isn't about saving the world. It's about saving your image, your relationships, your secrets. The emotions simmer instead of boil, and when things finally erupt, it feels earned. Characters snap not because the script demands it, but because they've been quietly pushed to the edge over scenes and scenes of tension, so taut it practically hums. As for originality, the film plays a delightful balancing act. It embraces the visual polish and plot structure of modern thrillers, but fills it with personalities that feel fresh and unpredictable. There's a self-awareness to how it plays the game. When a character delivers a classic, "You don't know what I'm capable of" line, the film practically winks at you, as if to say, "Yeah, we know that line's been done, but watch what we do with it next." It leans into genre conventions only to detonate them seconds later. It's not just subverting expectations for the sake of being clever. It's telling you that the rules don't apply here, not unless they've been rewritten in lipstick on a mirror. Action is minimal but effective when it shows up. It's not about car chases or explosive set pieces. It's about sudden, jarring moments that snap the stylish surface in half. When someone makes a bold move, it hits hard because the film has taken its time to build tension. A slap feels like a gunshot. A stare-down feels like war. Physical conflict is rare, but when it happens, it feels like the final card in a long, beautifully cruel game of poker. In short, Another Simple Favor, 2025, doesn't just exist inside its genre. It plays with it, pokes fun at it, and pushes it in new directions. It's stylish but sinister, funny but fierce, suspenseful but smart. It's a genre film that knows it's a genre film and uses that self-awareness like a loaded weapon. Whether you came for the mystery, the glamour, or the psychological games, it delivers all of it with a twist of lemon and a shot of something much darker. Another Simple Favor, 2025, doesn't just entertain, It eavesdrops on modern society, picks out its juiciest hypocrisies, and then wraps them in silk and scandal before parading them across the screen like gossip at a glamorous cocktail party. This movie isn't just a thriller with a twist. It's a high-gloss mirror held up to influencer culture, performative feminism, digital identity, and the deliciously dangerous art of self-reinvention. And it pulls no punches. It knows exactly how ridiculous, curated, and fragile today's image-obsessed culture can be, and it's here to pop that bubble with the sharpest of stilettos. At the heart of the film is this tension between public persona and private chaos. Stephanie, the seemingly sweet, hyper-organized mom next door, is practically a walking Pinterest board of positivity and politeness. Emily, the sleek, mysterious queen of secrets, represents the ultimate unbothered power woman. But neither is what they appear. The film uses their polished facades to dig into the pressure women face to present a perfect image, especially in a digital world where your life isn't real unless it's been posted, filtered, and hashtagged. The script doesn't shout about this theme. It lets it unravel organically through glances at ring lights, cryptic captions, and confessions caught on camera. Then there's the way the movie toys with modern motherhood. It paints the PDA meetings, school drop-offs, and cookie-cutter suburban expectations as part satire, part psychological battlefield. Stephanie's obsession with being liked and relatable is more than a personality quirk. It's a survival strategy. And it's not just about her. It's about how women are expected to be all things at once. Perfect mothers, supportive friends, independent professionals, flawless social media personalities. The film skewers that impossible checklist by showing how easily it can become a mask or a trap. Social media itself plays a fascinating role. It's not just a background prop. It's a character, a weapon, a secret diary in plain sight. The film taps into how platforms like Instagram and TikTok have turned truth into performance and performance into power. When characters post something, it's never innocent. Every upload is a move in the game. Every like a vote of confidence or condemnation. And the best part? The film doesn't scream, technology is bad. Instead, it whispers, look how cleverly people can lie with a smile and a filter. Power dynamics are everywhere, especially between genders. The film plays with the trope of the femme fatale, but in a way that reclaims it. Emily isn't just mysterious. She's strategically elusive. She's not playing dumb or seducing for survival. She's 5 steps ahead, using the assumptions people make about her to her own advantage. Meanwhile, the male characters, though charming or seemingly in control at first, often find themselves outmaneuvered not because they're weak, but because they underestimate the women around them. This role reversal is more than fun. It's a pointed jab at how power often operates in shadows, not speeches. Class commentary? Oh, it's in there too. The homes are immaculate. The wardrobes are curated. The cocktails are artisanal. But underneath all that luxury is a deep rot. The film whispers, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it isn't toxic. It pokes fun at the idea that money and status protect people from consequences, while also showing how the wealthy can manipulate public perception with a well-timed press release or a carefully staged appearance. The high-end aesthetic becomes a mask for low-end morality. What's even more clever is how the movie handles darker issues like manipulation, toxic relationships, and trauma without turning into a PSA. It doesn't lecture. It dramatizes. It invites you into a world that's thrilling, seductive, and just slightly terrifying, and then lets you notice how familiar it all feels. You start to realize that the emotional games being played aren't just fiction. They echo real-world dynamics that happen in workplaces, friend circles, and even families. It's unsettling in the best way. Even the fashion tells a story. Yes, the outfits are fabulous, but they're also symbolic. Stephanie's wardrobe evolves with her confidence and her moral ambiguity. Emily's look is a uniform of control, mystery, and armor. Clothes become a language, a way of expressing who these women want the world to believe they are and who they might actually be underneath. So yes, another simple favor, 2025, is stylish and twisty and endlessly fun, but it's also sharp. Underneath its glossy surface is a biting commentary on the lies we live, the roles we play, and the masks we wear, especially when the world is watching. It's not just a thriller, it's a portrait of modern identity dressed up as entertainment, and it knows exactly how to strike a nerve while keeping you grinning. Audience engagement in Another Simple Favor, 2025, is like stepping onto a roller coaster you didn't see coming. You think you're going for a calm carousel ride with a bit of mystery and a few cute outfits. But then, bam, you're suddenly launched into loops of betrayal, drops of dark comedy, and sharp turns of jaw-dropping twists that practically dare you to keep up. This film knows its audience and plays with expectations like a magician pulling secrets out of designer handbags. And let's be clear, it doesn't just want you to watch, it wants you to react. From the very beginning, you're pulled in with that familiar intrigue, a missing woman, a seemingly innocent friend left behind, and a trail of secrets that just keeps getting darker and messier with every scene. But this isn't a story that waits politely to reveal itself. It hooks you with its sass and suspense, teases you with answers, then throws in another surprise just when you thought you were a step ahead. Every reveal, every offhand comment, every glance between characters is loaded, and you can't help but lean in, waiting for the next gasp-worthy moment. There are scenes that are downright funny, in the most unexpected ways. You're laughing not just because something is comical, but because it's uncomfortable, outrageous, or brilliantly awkward. And that humor comes at just the right time, breaking the tension only to ratchet it back up a second later. The film keeps you on edge, not with constant action, but with shifting dynamics and sharp, clever writing that makes you wonder who's lying, who's winning, and who's about to drop a bombshell next. Emotional resonance comes not just from the twists, but from the little human moments between the chaos. Stephanie's transformation, her craving for identity, her desire to feel powerful, her slow unraveling, feels real in a way that sneaks up on you. And then there's Emily, with all her mystery and menace, whose vulnerability peeks through in subtle ways that make you almost forget she might be the villain. Or is she? That ambiguity fuels endless post-movie debates. It's the kind of story where fans pause mid-conversation to ask, wait, do you think she planned that all along? Shock is a major ingredient here. The movie isn't afraid to take big swings. Just when you settle into one theory about what's really going on, it flips the script with a scene or a revelation that changes everything. And not in a forced, twist-for-the-sake-of-it way. It earns its surprises. These are the kind of moments that make you shout at the screen, rewind the scene, or pause to look around the room to see if anyone else is as stunned as you. And yes, this film invites rewatching. Not just because it's stylish and fun, but because once you know the whole picture, you want to go back and spot the clues you missed. The foreshadowing, the subtle expressions, the double meanings in the dialogue, all of it feels like a game the movie plays with the viewer. The second time around, scenes hit differently. Moments that seemed harmless become ominous. Characters you trusted suddenly seem a lot more suspicious. It rewards paying attention, and it delights in your suspicions. It also sparks conversation. Viewers walk away asking big questions. Who is truly in control? Who manipulated whom? Was that ending a victory or a warning? Everyone has a theory, and every theory has a counter-theory. This isn't a one-and-done film. It's a talking point, a meme generator, a late-night debate among friends who can't decide if they'd want to be more like Stephanie or Emily, or if that's even a good idea. In the end, Another Simple Favor, 2025, doesn't just engage you while you're watching. It stays with you. It makes you want to analyze, dissect, and share it. It doesn't beg for your attention. It demands it. And once it has it, it plays with it like a cat with a ball of yarn. You're not just watching a story unfold. You're part of the game, and the game is delicious. When you stack Another Simple Favor, 2025, up against other films in its genre, it doesn't just hold its own. It winks, steps over the yellow tape of mystery thrillers, and strikes a pose in designer heels. This isn't just a sequel that repeats the beats of the original. It's like the stylish younger sibling who learned all the tricks of the first movie but decided to turn up the heat, stir in more chaos, and serve it all with a double shot of sass. And compared to other thrillers in the frenemy, or dangerous secrets category, this one brings a level of flair, wit, and unpredictability that makes it feel fresh even when it plays with familiar pieces. Let's talk about similar films. The elegant mystery dramas like Gone Girl, The Girl on the Train, or even Big Little Lies. Those stories simmer with psychological tension, secrets beneath polished surfaces, and women you can't quite figure out until it's too late. But Another Simple Favor, 2025, takes that simmer and turns it into a full-on pressure cooker with a pop soundtrack and martinis. It doesn't brood. It dances on the line between camp and noir. Where Gone Girl is a cerebral takedown of marriage and media, Another Simple Favor goes for more twisted fun, a faster pulse, and sharper one-liners. Think less grim introspection, more chic chaos. Within its own franchise, it plays like a spiritual continuation but with a bolder brush. The original A Simple Favor was quirky, twisty, and wore mystery like a silk scarf. It hinted at darkness, but kept it playful. The sequel rips the scarf off, ties it around a secret, and uses it to stage a whole new act. The tone is still stylish and acidic, but everything feels a bit more confident. The characters are riskier, the narrative takes bigger swings, and the stakes, emotional and otherwise, cut deeper. It doesn't just want to recreate the first film's success. It wants to evolve past it, and you can feel that ambition in every glossy, dangerous frame. And how does it stack up against other Paul Feig projects? If you know Feig from Bridesmaids or Spy, you know he thrives in blending comedy with chaos. Another Simple Favor, 2025, doesn't lean as hard into traditional laughs, but it does carry his signature blend of stylish direction, offbeat humor, and strong female leads. It's as if Feig said, let's keep the wine-soaked, razor-sharp banter, but add more layers of deception, a few stylishly arranged corpses, and let the leads go even more unhinged, but in the most fashionable way possible. Compared to his other works, this film is less a straight comedy and more a genre-bending thrill ride with cheekbones. In the grand lineup of modern thrillers, this movie refuses to sit quietly in the corner and follow the rules. While other films stick to the shadows, trying to build slow-burning dread, Another Simple Favor, 2025, turns the lights on, plays a pop song, and lets you know that danger can come with a side of glam. And while it absolutely uses genre tropes, the mysterious disappearance, the unreliable narrator, the oh-so-perfect suburban setting, it flips them. Instead of asking, what's really going on? You'll find yourself asking, who's faking better? Who's wearing the real mask? And more importantly, how is it that betrayal can be this entertaining? It's not trying to be another copy of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's closer to Killing Eve if it were written by someone with a Pinterest board full of couture murder mysteries and twisty friendship goals. It knows the formula, it respects the genre, but it's not afraid to scribble in the margins and add a few swirls of its own. And it's in those swirls where the magic really happens. Let's talk symbolism in Another Simple Favor, 2025, because believe me, this movie isn't just throwing around couture fashion and chic suburban murder vibes for fun. Oh no, it's playing a much deeper game under all that glitter. This film is a buffet of recurring visual motifs, clever metaphors, and little narrative Easter eggs that whisper, look closer. The first thing you'll probably notice is the obsessive use of mirrors and reflections. Almost every major moment features someone looking into a mirror, stepping past one, or breaking a reflection entirely. That's not just set dressing, it's a visual cue that this story is all about duality. Who we pretend to be versus who we are. Stephanie, sweet and awkward on the surface, hiding a storm underneath. Emily, confident and controlled, but haunted by things she'd never admit aloud. The mirrors tell us. Everyone in this film is playing a role, and no one's reflection is the full truth. Clothing is another layered symbol in this movie. Yes, the fashion is fabulous, but it also speaks volumes. Stephanie's wardrobe evolution isn't just about style, it's a transformation of identity. Her clothes shift from soft pastels and modest cuts to bold patterns and sharper silhouettes. It's as if her clothes are a barometer for how deeply she's sinking into Emily's world, or maybe how much she's realizing she never belonged in the old one to begin with. On the flip side, Emily's wardrobe remains icy, calculated, weaponized. Every outfit she wears is armor, screaming control and intimidation. The contrast becomes its own language, a constant tension between reinvention and manipulation. There's also this recurring motif of masks, not literal masks, but figurative ones. The film subtly drops references to performances, plays, and costumes, especially when the characters are trying to deceive each other or cover up a crime. One scene involving a party with overly dramatic costumes isn't just stylish excess. It's a meta moment where everyone is quite literally hiding in plain sight. The message is clear. In this world, being yourself is the biggest risk, and hiding is the norm. Even the use of children's toys and seemingly innocent props throughout the film add a layer of irony. Domestic bliss is a backdrop for psychological warfare, and what looks wholesome often conceals something wicked. A tea set isn't just a tea set. It might be part of a cover-up. A bake sale isn't innocent. It's a chance to manipulate. There's a specific recurring toy in the background that keeps popping up at key moments, and once you notice it, it becomes its own creepy little symbol of lost innocence. Weather, too, plays a symbolic role. Sunny scenes are rarely the happy ones. In fact, the darker the secrets get, the brighter the setting becomes. It's a reverse metaphor, using brightness to highlight the facade, the illusion of control and happiness. Then, when things unravel, the clouds roll in. The storm outside often mirrors the storm brewing between the characters. And then there's the clever use of food and drink, always present in high-tension scenes. Sharing a cocktail becomes a power move. Offering a cupcake becomes a veiled threat. The film turns hospitality into theater, and every gesture of kindness becomes suspect. It's no coincidence that so many pivotal scenes unfold around kitchen tables, wine glasses, or perfectly plated meals. Food in this film is a disguise for control, a way to poison trust, sometimes metaphorically, sometimes not. Even the title itself is a layered metaphor. Another simple favor, as if any favor in this universe is ever truly simple. Every time someone asks for a favor, what they're really doing is initiating a transaction, a manipulation, or a trap. The phrase becomes code for the beginning of another game, another secret, another twist. It's deceptively casual, and that's the point. Nothing in this movie is ever what it seems. So yes, this film is glitzy, stylish, and fun, but beneath that surface it's packed with symbolic fingerprints. From the color palettes to the props to the dialogue that doubles as veiled threats, everything means more than it first appears. And that's what makes watching it such a thrill. You're not just following the plot. You're decoding a stylish psychological puzzle dressed up in a designer trench coat. Since Another Simple Favor, 2025, is a sequel, let's dive into the gloriously twisted rabbit hole that is its franchise evolution. The original A Simple Favor already gave us a slick cocktail of mystery, dark humor, and suburban noir with a dash of mommy blog chaos, and it quickly became a cult favor not because it played things safe, but because it leaned into its own weirdness with fabulous confidence. So now here comes the sequel, strutting in with a martini in one hand and a bloody secret in the other, and it doesn't just ride the coattails of its predecessor. It grabs those coattails, flips them inside out, and sews on a few more pockets full of deception. What makes this installment fascinating in the context of the franchise is how it acknowledges the events of the first film while refusing to stay in its shadow. It's like a second act in a high-stakes con. Characters have history now, they've burned bridges, made strange alliances, and they're all a little more dangerous because of it. The film takes the original's themes of identity, manipulation, and polished chaos and expands them. Relationships that once felt like cat-and-mouse games become full-blown chess matches. Stephanie isn't just the naive blogger anymore. She's been through the fire and come out accessorized with sharper instincts. Emily? She's still Emily, mysterious, magnetic, and 5 steps ahead of everyone else. But this time, we get even deeper into her twisted psyche and her new layers of self-reinvention. The franchise's tone is also evolving. If the first movie was a flirty noir thriller with a YouTube tutorial twist, this sequel is more like that tutorial went viral, got cancelled, and came back rebranded with a vengeance. The stakes feel higher, the secrets darker, and the humor more cutting. Yet, the signature style remains: whip-smart dialogue, fashion-forward aesthetics, and that intoxicating blend of charm and danger that keeps you guessing if you're watching a thriller or the world's most dysfunctional fashion show. And let's not forget how the sequel cleverly deepens the franchise mythology. The first film hinted at twisted backstories and buried skeletons, but the second one starts opening those closet doors wide. We get more context, more of the universe's morally gray code, and yes, more characters with suspiciously perfect lives that are probably one sip of rose away from imploding. It expands the world without bloating it, weaving new storylines that make you want to go back and rewatch the original just to catch what you missed the first time. In terms of legacy, Another Simple Favor, 2025, stakes its claim as more than just a follow-up. It transforms the franchise from a one-time stylish surprise into an ongoing narrative experiment, blending satire, thriller, and psychological drama in a way that doesn't just wink at the audience. It practically invites them to pull up a chair and join the game. It's not about nostalgia or repeating beats. It's about escalation. The lies are more intricate, the characters more unhinged, and the question of who you can trust even murkier. So if you came for more of the same, you'll get it, but with extra edge, more twists, and enough stylish deceit to make you wonder if this franchise is building toward its own twisted cinematic universe of couture chaos and blackmail in stilettos. When it comes to the financials of Another Simple Favor, 2025, the film took a different route compared to its predecessor. While the original A Simple Favor was a theatrical release that grossed nearly $100 million worldwide on a $20 million budget, the sequel opted for a streaming debut on Amazon Prime Video, forgoing a traditional box office run. This strategic shift means that traditional box office metrics aren't applicable for assessing its financial success. The wrap: 1. Cinema Blend. 2. The decision to release directly on a streaming platform likely influenced both the film's budget and its production choices. While specific budget details for Another Simple Favor haven't been publicly disclosed, the film's production quality suggests a moderate budget, with high production values evident in its stylish cinematography and elaborate set designs. The film's premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival on March 7, 2025, and subsequent release on Prime Video on May 1, 2025, indicate a marketing strategy focused on digital platforms and festival circuits rather than traditional theatrical promotion. In style. 3. Audience reception has been mixed, with some viewers praising the film's campy tone and stylish execution, while others have criticized it for lacking the originality and charm of the first installment. This division in opinion may have impacted the film's overall performance on streaming platforms, though specific viewership numbers have not been released. Cinema Blend. 2. In summary, Another Simple Favor represents a shift in distribution strategy for the franchise, embracing the streaming model over traditional box office releases. While this approach makes it challenging to assess financial success through conventional means, the film's production quality and marketing efforts suggest a confident investment in its digital release. 1. https://www. therap.com/another-simple-favor-blake-lively-ana-kendrick-paul-feig/question mark utm_source=chatgpt.com. Another Simple Favor review. Cartoonish, over the top. The Wrap. 2. https://www. cinemablend.com/streaming-news/blake-lively-loving-people-calling-another-simple-favor-insane?insane?chatgpt.com. Turns out, Blake Lively's loving all those people calling Another Simple Favor insane. 3. https://www. insti.com/ana-kendrick-upset-blake-lively-another-simple-favor-116799446?mark utm_source=chatgpt.com. Anna Kendrick is /upset/ by the negativity surrounding her and Blake Lively's new movie. If you're eager to dive into the stylish intrigue of Another Simple Favor, you're in luck, This glamorous sequel is available exclusively on Amazon Prime Video. Released on May 1st, 2025, the film reunites Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively in a tale of secrets, fashion, and unexpected twists set against the picturesque backdrop of Capri, Italy. Vulture 1. To watch, simply log in to your Amazon Prime account and stream the movie at no additional cost. If you're not a Prime member, Amazon offers a 30-day free trial, giving you full access to their streaming library, including this film. About Amazon, too. For the best viewing experience, consider watching on a device that supports 4K Ultra HD and HDR to fully appreciate the film's stunning visuals and fashion-forward aesthetics. Whether you're planning a solo movie night or a gathering with friends, Another Simple Favor promises a thrilling and stylish cinematic experience. 1. https://www.vulture.com/article/new on Amazon Prime Movies shows original /HTML_UTM_campaign equals feed part and UTM_medium equals social and UTM source equals HA. New on Amazon Prime Video. May 2025. 2. https://www.abutamazon.com/news/entertainment/another-simple-favor-video?UTM_source =chatgpt.com. How to watch Another Simple Favor. Now streaming on Prime Video.